pipe burst and my constituents were left without water for 5 days. So why will you not accept responsibility for that?
When we've met before, I have taken responsibility. I didn't cause the incident. I've come in place to get the company turned back around, but I take full accountability of where the company is, because it's my job to get the company turned around. I can't go back in time. I can only deal with improving the company from the position that I'm in at the moment.
Why did you think it was right, just 2 months after that incident, to take such a large bonus?
The planning permission, if I could just answer the previous question just very quickly, and I will come to that one straight afterwards. The planning permission relating to that pipeline was as a direct result, when we look back through the records of the company trying to juggle and work within an underfunded scenario. It did not have enough money. When you look back at the allowances that the company is being given by the regulator, independently modified as it should be, there just was never enough money to cover all of the maintenance needs of the company. So the company was having to take tough choices as to which pipes that it replaced and which pipes that it didn't replace. With the benefit of hindsight, it got that decision wrong, but that is very much with the benefit of hindsight. Under my management team, we are now replacing that pipeline as we've committed you to do, and furthermore adding extra resilience with a dual pipeline that will mean that supply also has a sort of a standby system, if you like. So we're taking action now. I can't go back in time. What I can do, though, is make sure that the right things are going forward now. In relation to bonuses, I've been chief executive for 2 full years, and I'm partway through my third. For my first year, I declined a bonus because it was completely it just was not right that I took a bonus in a year when the water sector was coming under such scrutiny and public concern and anger was at such a high level. In my second year, the majority of the bonus was disallowed, and you are right, I did take a bonus related to water quality improvements and safety improvements only, and that was because our bonus scheme is directly related to the performance improvement of the turnaround plan. So that is directly back to back with that plan, and we set very stretching targets, and whilst we improved, we didn't deliver everything that we set out to do, but we did move from bottom of the industry on water quality through to just outside the upper quartile of the industry in 1 year. So it was related to that, and that was the specific condition there.
Now, you told Helena that you didn't take a bonus in your first full year.
Yes, correct.
You did in the second, but did I understand you correctly to be saying that you would have been entitled to but chose not to?
In the first year?
Yes.
Yes, but it would have been relatively small. So it was really because the performance in the first year made a substantial improvement, but it didn't make quite the improvement that we ended up wanting to push the company for, and that's because we're setting stretching targets.
So you forwent a bonus, but it wasn't a very big one.
Well, I think that's one take on it. The take personally from me is that it was the right thing to do. When I came into this company, my friends and family honestly asked me what on earth I was doing. This is not an easy sector. It is not particularly not an easy company within a difficult sector. But if people don't step into these difficult jobs and start to turn these companies into what the consumers and what the public want them to be, then we're going to be in a very sorry state. So I did it because it really matters. So it is a choice of heart as much as head.
Why did you choose to take a bonus of £160,000 in July last year?
If I could answer the question about the incidents first. The incidents are differing in nature, and I won't talk through all of those in the interest of keeping it succinct. But the incident in Rye related to a burst pipe underneath the railway line. It was an extraordinarily difficult fix. Ideally, that wouldn't have happened, but it was an extremely difficult operation to do. It is not that the company isn't working extraordinarily hard. It's some of these incidents are genuinely very, very difficult to deal with in a very short time frame.
I think
our response,
you need to take some responsibility.
Of course.
You came into Southern Water in 2020. You became chief executive in 2022. These incidents have all happened on your watch. If we take the Hastings incident that you refer to, for example, the incident where a member of your own team said that the army nearly had to be called in. In 2007, Southern Water submitted a planning application to repair the strategic pipe that burst, causing that incident in May 2024. In their own planning application, they referred to a need to replace, and I quote, existing outworn raw water pipeline. That work wasn't done.
I just have a few pithy questions about the price review and bill increases, so I'll cut to the chase. Mr. Gosden, how satisfied are you with the outcome of the price review?
We are presently still looking at the details of the price review. It is extraordinarily complicated, and you have to look at it beyond the sort of face value of the investment numbers that we need. But what I can say is that we're about £1 billion short of what we really need to provide the investments that our customers are looking for, and that does provide me some significant concern. I realise it's a difficult position because an extra £1 billion would also have actually a relatively modest impact on bills, and that's largely because investment is paid for effectively like a mortgage over the long-term life of the assets, but we are about £1 billion short from the investments that we really need. So that's the first point. The second point, and it's an unpopular thing to say, but the practical reality is that we are running a private company, and we do therefore need a cost of capital that we can actually work with and we can finance the company efficiently on. And that cost of capital is presently too low for current market rates. So that presents us with a challenge. And then the third point on the price review that we're considering is really about the risk and the reward and the penalty structure that sits around the delivery of price controls. The framework is absolutely right. Water companies should and absolutely need to be held to account to deliver for their customers. There is no problem with that at all. But when we're a turnaround company and we're coming from a low performance base through to improving the performance of the company, that means we naturally go through a period of paying penalties before we get the company up to the standard that it needs to be. And those penalties manifest themselves in effectively cuts off our revenues.
So just in terms of that shortfall, Southern requested the highest bill increase of any water company, 83%, over 5 years, and that would have increased the average household bill from £420 to £768. Why did you think that substantial increase was necessary, and why do you think your assessment of what was necessary differed so far from Ofwat, who ultimately have settled on 53%?
There is one quick contextual point, which is really about the southeast of the country. The southeast of the country is designated as water stressed. That means that this part of the country receives less rainfall per capita than Namibia. It is, when we're in the middle of the winter and it's grey clouds, it's hard to believe, but it is absolutely true on a per capita basis, because there is a significant, obviously, population in this part of the country. So that means that we have very large forward investment plans for water resources, with everything from water recycling to we are already building the first reservoir in 30 years with Portsmouth Water, which is halfway through construction now. So there's a very large water resources to safeguard this part of the country from climate change, and that is on top of a substantial environmental improvement and investment programme to redesign sewer systems effectively. So effectively there is double the impact of investment in this part of the country because of the geography of the region. So a substantial part of the investment programme is related simply to geography. Our jobs as water companies is to effectively look at the major regulatory requirements from the Environment Agency and the Drinking Water Inspectorate, put together the most efficient plans that we can put forward and submit those to the regulator Ofwat, which is what we have done. They have come back with a different view on that, and we are mid-dialogue with them as to how we can bridge that gap or not.
You think you'd appeal to the CMA?
It's too early to say, I'm afraid. We have until the 18th of February to make that decision. But from the evidence from the previous session is, I would say, this is a very serious moment. And as water companies, we do need to stand up for the investment that the country needs, albeit at the same time being sensitive to how we can support those who will struggle to pay for those bill increases through between a 45% to a 90% discount, which is our support scheme for customers.
Okay.